as a
It
partner.
is. It seems like women are always the ones that always settle, right? Men,
Mm-hmm.
you see the most dusty, raggedy somebody's son that is a straight up week 5, right? Hairline all the way back here, unemployed, bad attitude, bad body, black toenails,
Oh
attitude.
my God,
Like
girl. What girl?
Damn,
better
Claudia.
days, I mean, I ain't talking about no one specific. Better days are behind them, and they be trying to holler at me, right? Talk about my friends, right? You got a friend for me, and she better be a dime. She better be able to cook, and this, and this, and that, and the list is so long. And then I meet my amazing friend that check all the boxes. Say, I want a good guy that treats me nice.
Righty, now tonight's topic will focus on the importance of never settling as a Black woman. All right, now we got to keep it real, because sometimes settling is calming and relaxing to the spirit, but not settling involves work. It involves tenacity, it involves inner work, and so much more. According to bossmag.com, the key points of not settling requires accountability, setting standards, and fueling your mind and body. Now, ladies, why is it important not to settle as a Black woman? I know this is easy, but Claudia, since nobody never gets to go to you first, tell me why it is so important for Black women to not settle.
Because we have it the hardest out of everybody. We have double minority status and usually do twice the work, half the pay, half the respect. So damn it, we deserve to not have to settle. And I know it seems like it's like easier sometimes, like, well, you know, statistics always tell us 35% of women, Black women, will get married, and mostly going to be single. And after a certain age, it's a wrap. So we kind of sit there and say, well, I'll share, or I'll compromise on this, or maybe he's not all I want, but he's better than nothing, or a piece of a man is better than no man. Hell to the no. Absolutely the F not. And sometimes it's hard when someone's like pretty good, but there's some things that really don't sit well with your spirit. And we try to sometimes force a square peg into a round hole, and you find yourself frustrated because you're like, oh, because you're settling. And when you feel that feeling where it's like, damn it, something is still not sitting right.
The first thing that came to my mind after I saw this snippet from Fox Soul was like, where's the fuck? Where the fuck is my recorder? Where the fuck is my recorder and shit? I look at this shit, and I'll tell you, I don't really take it with a grain of salt. This is like a adequate representation of the mindset of most women these days and shit. I hate to say that and shit. It's the adequate representation of it. All right, and I want to call this show what it should. The real name of this show, you know, should be the Bitter Bitch Mobile. Okay, that's what the real name of this show should be. Okay, all these women sit up here. All these women past the wall. These old broads and shit. Now I'm thinking none of them are attached, or if they are, their husbands are suffering. Okay, and they should be kidnapped and shit out of there, and so they can be happy and live the rest of their lives and shit nag free. Right? These some old busted broads and shit. I ain't even gonna do the roll call right now, but like any sister that listens to this shit is a fucking idiot and shit. And we know that like a lot of sisters push all this trash TV and shit. They watch this shit and they live it and they emulate it and shit because they ignorant as fuck and they don't want to get out in the real world and shit. Got their head shoved up in the social media and shit, and they think this is like they think these are role models. Okay, these are the female role models. All four of these bitter broads and shit. It's funny, Claudia Jordan be talking shit. She made sure that she's the best looking one on the panel. Okay, everybody else all sucked up and shit, and that includes Lisa Ray's gobble gobble turkey neck and shit. I get it, man. You get tired of this shit. They say women always settle. Okay, are you kidding? We live in a community where they tell us we have to sit on the bench and with our push broom and wait for them to tap us in and shit to be a stepdaddy and shit and take copious amounts of verbal abuse, work yourself, double digit hours, 10, 12 hours a day and shit, and hurry up and die so they can use whatever little resources they haven't burned through already and shit, okay? It's just bullshit, okay? We're tired of being a walking wounded and shit in this goddamn ethnic community. All right, and I'm tired of looking at shit like this and no clapback and shit. So the clapback is here. All right, every last one of these broads is a waste of space and shit. Okay, and that includes Claudia Jordan too, because in that clip she was talking about herself and shit. How would she even know? No, I don't know. She was talking about some motherfucker with like blackened toenails or some shit like that. I don't know of any woman that would tell another woman about a dude's athlete's foot or some shit. Because you on some level you'll be thinking like, what you doing with this nigga? Why you telling me about this nigga's foibles and shit, okay? I know like women drag dudes all the time and shit, but like some of that shit read back on you. I think that's funny too. I talk about that whole she was talking about the dude's feet or something. Like I remember back in the 2000s, they used to know this sister with a big motherfucking mouth. We used to call her Mr. Mouth, like that old game. We used to call her that and shit, because she looked kind of like that shit too. We used to call that because she tell everybody's business and shit. She was telling how her friend wanted a husband, and she found a guy, but he was like a bust down. He was like a fixer up a pookie, and he had fucked up feet and shit. She said that the sister, wanted this guy so bad. She wanted to fix her up a pookie so bad that she went to the store. She went to like the 99-cent store and bought like a plastic basin. And she bought like about 15 bottles of hydrogen peroxide and poured it in this basin and stuck the dude's feet in there and then washed and cleaned his feet and shit. And cleaned the rest of them too. And that they was going strong and shit. And they was laughing their ass off because they was just talking about the dude all they could think was that the dude had a giant penis. And that's why she was doing it and shit. And I saw the motherfucker too and shit. He looked like a damn linebacker with some dookie braids and shit. He was a nice guy, but like they'll tell you she settled. All right, this chick knew her worth, and she did like Kevin Samuels used to always be trying to get these women to like understand little things about their self and shit, personality wise. He wasn't necessarily trying to change any women. He was just trying to explain things economically and interpersonally and shit. And it just went sideways and went off the fucking rails. And you have what the shit you have today, like this incredible sense of entitlement because these women have unrealistic expectations because they consume so much outside stimulus that is actually propaganda, negative propaganda that works against you. You're working against yourself and shit. You're destroying your community as a result. Okay, all right. Now that I send a shout out to that woman who did the thing with the plastic basin and the bottles of peroxide. Some people laugh at her and shit, but hey, she knew. This woman knew what she wanted, and she snapped her form and shit when she found what she was looking for. I don't know how she picked the guy out. Maybe he allowed her to unzip his pants and put her hand down there and find out what she was looking for there. But like when I saw him, everything was cool, and he was a stepdaddy and shit. I couldn't do that shit. This was like some hood chick from like Compton. I just laughed my ass off, man, because like these four broads, they have like varying degrees of wealth and shit, and excessive failure, excessive failure in interpersonal relationships, as far as I know. Okay, and I think the one chick, Selena something, is married, but whatever. She might have got a divorce or killed her husband by now by simply nagging him into the coffin until he went in there and buried himself alive. Oh fuck! And Vivica Fox admitted that she had married a guy simply because she wanted to be married and shit. Okay, and then she did 86 the motherfucker when he didn't live up to her expectations. Okay, she 86 him. She never said he cheated or nothing, but she said she didn't really know him and she married him and shit. And I remember that because I laughed because they didn't never say the guy's name. They just always called him like 6ix9ine or some shit. Supposedly a stage name. It's part of some singing group I never fucking heard of. You know. Oh man. And I don't think Lisa Ray's with nobody and shit. She was bitching about being snubbed by her own sister, her own gay sister who's pregnant now and shit. and who didn't think enough of her to tell her beforehand before she went public with the shit. That tells you what kind of relationships these women, foster in their own personal sphere and shit. It's all negativity and shit. It's all, I don't know really shit about Claudia Jordan. I saw with some pretty boy dude, but I think maybe that guy might have escaped by now. Maybe he got smart, jumped out the window or something, or climbed out. He left when she went to work. That dude had his bag already in the closet, just bombed out. I don't know if she's still with the guy, but I wouldn't be with her. Like, if you look at her shit, like the shit she does for a living, how can you lay next to her? That's why I laugh my ass off. Like some of these chicks have these dudes in like bondage and shit, like literal slavery. All right, mental if nothing else, spiritual definitely. And I'm like, how do you lay up with somebody that talk trash like this all the time, 24/7, and you get a paycheck from the minority majority to do it and shit? Okay, like I just have, I really, I have nothing to say and shit. I'm being pragmatic about it all and shit. And I want to make this commentaries and shit so the guys will, just take a bare bones common sense approach to this bullshit. Okay? You don't need this kind of stuff in your life, okay? If you got a chick that's always got some drama and fast talking and shit is always, up in the air and shit, leave that hoe. Okay? Don't settle. Okay? Don't be ashamed of your preference, whatever it is. Okay? Don't be ashamed. Okay? They think about themselves first and shit. First and foremost. That's where a lot of this shit is coming from. A place of pain and suffering that they self-inflicted on themselves and shit. And they want you to be a part of it. Anybody that gets close to the gravitational pull of their bullshit, misandry, they're gonna get put in a mix. Okay? You don't have to do this. Okay? Go after what you want and shit. Alright? I'll take it even further, but I won't go. I'm not gonna talk about that in this video. Not even gonna talk about that. I'll talk about this some other time and shit. I'll just close it out. I'm getting into this closing out shit. I'll just say SYSBM equals save yourself, black man.
This message has been paid for by the Dusties. Yes, the niggas you love to hate.